So now that you've had time to do literally a couple of problems on your own, please check out if this is what yours look like. You may have made a taller place where it turned here, or you may have just made it come directly up to the y-intercept. There are variations, but basically, the second one took a little longer maybe because it had to be factored first. So I'll give you a chance to look at the second one here, if it will let me. Now, this graph did not look exactly like the prediction, but it is still a positive cubic. Okay, I'm going to take this away now so that if you have seen everything to your satisfaction and you have no questions, you can just move on to the next small topic that we have. If you did have questions, then now we are going to work these things out together. So the degree on this very first one, we can just add the degrees here. There's a degree 2 on this first factor, degree 2 on this second factor, so it would be a total of 4 degrees, or we can write out all the separate fully factored pieces. And there are going to be 4 x's multiplied times each other. That would be x to the 4th. This is 4th degree. It ought to have 4 roots. Basic shape then would make it a quartic, and these are all positive, so we're going to get our W shape again. Doesn't have to look like a true W always. Get variations on it. Y-intercept, when x is 0, we're going to have a y-intercept. So that looks like it's 9 times the square on -1, which would be 9. So the y-intercept here is supposed to be 9. X-intercepts. Well, that's when these factors all multiply out to 0, when y equals 0. That means x is going to equal -3, or this x is going to equal -3, or this x is going to equal it's going to equal +1, and this x can equal +1. Well, we've got a double root here. That means the graph is going to bounce at -3. It's going to just be tangent to the x-axis. It won't cross. Likewise, it won't cross over here. At x equals 1, we have another double root. So next, at x equals -3, the graph is going to bounce. At x equals +1, the graph is going to bounce. and it's going to go through a y-intercept of 9, and it's going to look sort of like that. So it's going to have to come down out of positive infinity. Whoa. Bounce off of the double root at -3. It's going to come up. Now, where you choose to make it turn, you can make it go right into the y-intercept right now. You can make it go up a little higher and then come down. That is totally up to you, because this is just a sketch. Then bounce off the double root at x equals 1. So this could have come up higher. Don't know the turning point. Worry about that next year in calculus. And that would be it. Our next one here. Well, we can tell by looking at it because this is multiplied out. These are not factors, these are terms. And the highest degree on the term is 5. So the number of roots is going to be 5. Basic shape, it's a positive quintic. So it could look, it's going to have 4 turning points. Kind of like a cubic, it's just an extra twist. The y-intercept, that's when x is 0. So it is 0 to the 5th minus 4 times 0 to the 3rd, which is still going to give us 0. So we know that the y-intercept, when x is 0, y is 0, going to be right at the origin. For the x-intercepts, we set y equal to 0, and we're going to have to factor this thing. Any common factors come off, because that's always what we look for when we're factoring. Oh yeah, you can take an x cubed out of everybody. And then we'd have to multiply by x squared to get x to the 5th. We'd have to multiply by -4. The last rule of factoring. Is it finished? Can we factor it any further? And I'm sure you recognize we have the difference of 2 perfect squares here. So we could rewrite that as x plus 2 times the quantity x minus 2. So we have 0 equals 0, x times x times x times x plus 2 times x minus 2. Well, we've got a triple root. It's not going to bounce. It's going to cross through, but it's going to flatten as it crosses through. These two are not a double root, because one of them is a positive 2, one of them is a negative 2. So a triple root at x equals 0. Well, that was the y-intercept too. And apparently the graph is going to flatten and cross there. It's going to cross through at x equals -2. It's going to cross through at x equals +2. So at -2 it's going to cross, at +2 it's going to cross, and then it's going to flatten and cross here in the middle. It's going to come up at a negative infinity. And cross when it gets to -2. Somewhere here it's got to turn around, come down to 0, flatten and cross. And then somewhere here it's got to turn around, come back up through +2. It's a little strange, but it is sort of a cubic there, just the dips aren't in the exact same spots, but that's okay. So we're gonna do something different now.